We're back again with another mind-blowing reincarnation reel, diving into the uncanny world of celebrities who look like they've time-traveled straight out of the history books. Get ready for more famous faces with historical twins you won't believe. Emma Watson looks uncannily like a young Richard Dawkins' brains, bone structure, and brilliance reborn. Sheldon Cooper looks like a WWII German soldier reborn, same stern stare, sharp features, and precision in every move. Jim Carrey looks like country legend George Jones reborn, same wild eyes, expressive face, and untamed energy. Kurt Russell looks like Jeff Bridges reborn, rugged charm, iconic hair, and that effortlessly cool stare. Liam Neeson looks like Fidel Castro reborn, commanding presence, intense gaze, and revolutionary grit. Joseph Gordon-Levitt looks strikingly like French author André Gide, the same soulful eyes, refined features, and quiet intensity. It's as if Gide's literary spirit found a modern stage in Joseph's cinematic grace. Hugh Grant looks uncannily like Oscar Wilde, the mischievous smile, sharp eyes, and air of clever charm. It's as if Wilde's wit and elegance stepped right into the modern screen. Misha Maisky looks like Sylvester Stallone reborn, the intense stare, rugged presence, and wild, unyielding energy. John C. Reilly looks like Chef Gordon Ramsay reborn, same fiery glare, bold features, and a no-nonsense intensity. Benjamin McKenzie looks like a young Russell Crowe reborn, same steely gaze, chiseled jaw, and quiet storm energy. Kathy Griffin looks like Martin Short reborn, animated expressions, razor-sharp wit, and a face built for comedy. Jon Stewart looks like Charlie Chaplin reborn, expressive eyes, sharp comedic timing, and a face that speaks volumes without a word. Alec Baldwin looks like Samuel King Allison reborn, same commanding stare, strong jawline, and an air of intellectual intensity. James Woods looks like Erwin Schrödinger reborn, piercing eyes, sharp features, and a mind that always seems 10 steps ahead. Hank Azaria looks like Rudolf Steiner reborn, same penetrating gaze, expressive face, and a spark of visionary madness. Tom Beard looks remarkably like Colin Firth, the same refined features, soulful gaze, and quiet, dignified charm. It's as if the spirit of classic British elegance lives on in both. Charlie Sheen looks like John Brown reborn, fiery eyes, rebellious spirit, and an untamed intensity that refuses to be silenced. Gene Hackman could pass for Emperor Vespasian, carved into marble, stoic jaw, weathered authority, and a gaze that commands without a word. Annie Lennox and Barbara Corcoran share a bold, striking aura, like twin forces of sharp elegance and fearless reinvention, born decades apart but cut from the same steel. Christopher Hansen and Scarlett Johansson look like mirror souls in different forms. His sharp poise and her smoldering elegance echo a shared mystique that blurs the line between charm and enigma. Neil McDonough and Robert Richard feel like parallel energies, one with icy intensity, the other with fiery charisma, yet both radiate a focused strength that transcends type and time. Elizabeth Perkins and Millie Bobby Brown share a timeless spark, same expressive eyes, poised presence, and that rare blend of innocence with quiet power. Jeremy Allen White channels Gene Wilder in a raw, modern key, the wild eyes, the nervous brilliance, and a spark of beautiful chaos just beneath the surface. Bill Skarsgård feels like a sleeker echo of Steve Buscemi, haunting eyes, unpredictable energy, and a face that tells 10 stories at once without saying a word. Timothée Chalamet and Natalia Dyer look like ethereal reflections of each other, all delicate angles, dreamy eyes, and a quiet intensity that feels almost otherworldly. Zora Neale Hurston and Queen Latifah radiate a shared regality, fierce minds, commanding presence, and a voice that carries generations of strength and soul. Young Vladimir Putin and Tom Riddle share an eerie resemblance, same piercing stare, enigmatic calm, and the chilling sense that they're always 5 moves ahead. Franziska Shanskowska and Heikki Makach seem like echoes through time, both with a gaze that hints at secrets untold, wrapped in elegance touched by mystery. Matthew McConaughey looks like he time-traveled from a sepia-toned past, same laid-back charm, chiseled grin, and that twinkle in the eye that says, all right, all the way back to 1885. Jimmy Fallon is the spitting image of Turkish revolutionist Mahir Çayan, Same sharp jaw, expressive eyes, and a spark of rebellious charisma that bridges comedy and conviction. Jack Black feels like Paul Revere reborn with a guitar, bold, loud, wildly animated, and always ready to rally the crowd with unstoppable energy. Jay-Z looks like he stepped straight out of a 1930s time capsule, crisp style, cool confidence, and a face so identical to an old Harlem photograph it's hard not to believe he's been here before. Peter Dinklage and Sebastian Demora are like reflections across centuries, same piercing gaze, dignified presence, and a quiet defiance that transcends time and canvas. Mesut Ozil and Enzo Ferrari share such uncanny features, those deep-set eyes, sharp contours, and intense stares. It's as if the legendary driver was reborn on the pitch instead of the track. Alec Baldwin could slip into the role of Millard Fillmore without missing a beat. The strong jaw, stately demeanor, and that classic 19th century presidential look already built in. Leonardo DiCaprio and Judy Zipper share such a striking resemblance, the same cheeky grin, soulful eyes, and vintage charisma. It's like a family photo separated by decades, not branches. Orlando Bloom and Nicolae Grigorescu look like kindred spirits across time. Same dreamy eyes, artistic aura, and that effortlessly romantic presence that feels both painted and lived. Matt Damon bears an uncanny resemblance to Soviet fighter pilot Ivan Nikitovich Kozydub. The square jaw, focused gaze, and heroic poise so alike, it's as if the silver screen and the skies once shared the same soul. Andrew Garfield or Leon Trotsky? With those sharp eyes, defined features, and quietly intense intellect, it's hard to tell if he's swinging through Manhattan or planning a revolution in Petrograd. No wonder Stephen Fry portrayed Oscar Wilde with his towering presence, expressive wit, and that unmistakable air of literary mischief. It's less casting and more reincarnation. Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rose Wilder Lane feels less like casting and more like destiny. Both radiate fierce intelligence, quiet defiance, and a timeless grace that commands attention without ever raising a voice. Conan O'Brien and Civil War figure Marshall Twitchell could be twins across time. The fiery hair, elongated face, and that unmistakable mix of sharp wit and commanding presence make the resemblance downright eerie. Adrian Brody as philosopher John Locke feels almost too perfect. The intense gaze, thoughtful demeanor, and sculpted features echo the mind of a man born to question everything. Severus Alexander and Eminem share more than just a piercing stare. Same sharp cheekbones, intense presence, and a vibe that says command first, ask questions later. The real Slim Shady might just be rocking a Roman toga. George Carlin and Charles Darwin are a doppelganger duo for the ages. Same penetrating eyes, wild beards, and a shared legacy of challenging the world's thinking, whether through comedy or science. Zach Galifianakis and Louis Vuitton share more than just facial hair, the same deep-set eyes, artistic flair, and a look that says style with substance, whether it's through fashion or fearless comedy. Rupert Grint, dressed as painter Sir David Wilkie, feels oddly natural. The tousled hair, thoughtful eyes, and that subtle mix of mischief and introspection make it look less like costume and more like homecoming. Bruce Willis and General Douglas MacArthur could be the same soul in different uniforms, same steely stare, square jaw, and that undeniable aura of command that says, "Follow me or get out of the way." Paul Giamatti stepping into the role of William Shakespeare feels like fate, the expressive eyes, contemplative brow, and that brilliant, unpredictable energy that could pen a sonnet or start a storm with equal ease. Alicia Keys and Lena Horne are like echoes in harmony, radiant beauty, soulful eyes and voices that don't just sing, they stir generations. Timeless elegance reborn in rhythm and grace. Jon Stewart and Henry Ward Beecher share more than just sharp features. Both are firebrands of their eras, blending conviction with charisma and wielding words like tools of change. John Malkovich and Sir Thomas More share a haunting resemblance, both with piercing eyes, solemn poise, and the air of men who speak carefully, because their words might just change everything. John Brown or Charlie Sheen, with wild eyes, untamed intensity, and a look that dares the world to flinch first, it's hard to tell if he's leading a rebellion or crashing a Hollywood set. Bill Murray and Edgar Allan Poe might just be the same soul in different centuries, both masters of the eerie and the absurd, with eyes that hint at genius, madness, and a punchline you'll never see coming. Florence Welch and Joan of Arc feel like divine echoes, fierce, flame-haired warriors led by vision, voice, and unshakable purpose, whether on the battlefield or the stage. Michael Sheen and Billie Joe Armstrong could be rock stars from different realms, same intense glare, rebellious edge, and that electric charisma that commands both stage and screen. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Javier Bardem look like cinematic twins, separated by script-rugged charm, brooding eyes, and a magnetic intensity that feels equal parts danger and depth. Val Kilmer and Jonathan Taylor Thomas share that all-American heartthrob energy, the boyish charm, soft jawline, and a look that blends mischief with movie star glow across generations. Rosie O'Donnell and Ricky Gervais could pass as comedic cousins, same expressive faces, razor-sharp timing, and that fearless energy that dares you to laugh or squirm, or both. Bette Midler and Bram Stoker might seem worlds apart, but look closer, both have piercing eyes, dramatic flair, and a gothic spark that suggests they could conjure a legend with just a sentence or a song. Earl Hickey and David Crosby share that laid-back, scruffy soul vibe, wild hair, easy grin, and a look that says they've seen some things and probably laughed through half of them. Kristen Stewart and Boy George both radiate a rule-breaking allure, sharp features, intense eyes, and a cool defiance that turns androgyny into art. Kathy Ireland and Denise Richards look like sun-kissed mirror images, same radiant smile, sculpted cheekbones, and that effortlessly glamorous 90s supermodel glow that never goes out of style. Stephen Colbert and Bob Saget share a familiar warmth, the kind, clever eyes, easy smiles, and that perfect balance of dad joke charm with razor-sharp wit just beneath the surface. Sean Connery and Ruhollah Khomeini may come from vastly different worlds, but their commanding presence, intense gaze, and unmistakable gravitas give them an oddly mirrored aura of authority and mystique. Chris Rock and Mario Barrett share a striking charisma, sharp jawlines, expressive eyes, and a magnetic presence that blends rhythm, wit, and undeniable stage energy. Greek martial artist and retired officer Charybdis Kostas bears a remarkable resemblance to Ben Kingsley. Same intense stare, dignified features, and an aura that commands both discipline and depth. Michael Jackson bears an uncanny resemblance to Dutch painter Berend Fabricius, the delicate features, soulful eyes, and almost ethereal presence that seem to transcend both canvas and stage. Trey Songz's Latino doppelganger brings the same smooth confidence, soulful eyes, sculpted features, and that effortless blend of charm and rhythm that turns every room into a stage. With those deep-set eyes, dramatic expressions, and timeless aura, it's not hard to imagine Nick Cage's ancestors riding through old Mexico part legend, part mystery, and all cinematic intensity. A portrait of philosopher John Locke, resembling actor Adrian Brody with striking similarities in their facial features, the connection between the two is uncanny, linking past and present in a surreal way. A historical figure with striking features resembling actor Orlando Bloom, the resemblance is so strong that it's hard to believe they're not the same person from different times. A photograph of Herman Rorschach, the creator of the famous inkblot test. His work continues to influence modern psychology, offering insights into the human mind. Zora Neale Hurston, an influential African-American author, played a pivotal role in the Harlem Renaissance. Her work not only shaped literature, but paved the way for countless artists to succeed. The man on the left shares a sly smile and mustache, reminiscent of Eddie Murphy's iconic look. The resemblance is so striking that this photo could easily be used in a future Eddie Murphy movie. His historical twin is Sebastian de Mora, the court dwarf and jester to Philip IV of Spain. The serious expression on both of their faces is eerily similar, and it's easy to imagine Peter Dinklage playing de Mora in a movie. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, bears a striking resemblance to the actor who portrayed young Tom Riddle in the Harry Potter series. The features of his younger self could easily be mistaken for the famous character, adding an intriguing twist to both history and film. Henry David Thoreau, renowned for his classic work Walden, is not only remembered for his philosophical contributions, but also for having a doppelganger living in the present day. The striking similarity between him and a modern figure is both fascinating and uncanny. The man on the right is John Brown, famous for leading a slave rebellion and a raid on Harper's Ferry. It's interesting how both he and his doppelganger were known for bold, radical actions, making their likeness even more powerful. You may recognize Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones, and given the show's manipulation of space and time, it's fascinating to think that she has a twin from the past, adding an element of mystery to her striking resemblance to a historical figure. Chuck Norris has a timeless look that could easily fit into any era. His strong features and intense gaze make him resemble a figure from the past. At first glance, the right photo seems like Jennifer Lawrence in a black and white movie, but it's actually Egyptian actress Zubaida Tharwat. The resemblance between them is uncanny and striking. A portrait of a young man by Barrent Fabricius strikingly resembles Michael Jackson, a meeting of soulful eyes across centuries. A photo of American philosopher Henry David Thoreau reveals features that bear a strong resemblance to comedy actress Ellen DeGeneres. Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, has a very unique look that is surprisingly mirrored in the past King Philip IV of Spain, painted in a way that mirrors Zuckerberg's distinct features, creating a curious and intriguing connection. A historical portrait of Vladimir Lenin shows a striking resemblance to actor Leonardo DiCaprio. The similarities in their facial structure are hard to ignore. A nostalgic family photo reveals a man who bears an uncanny resemblance to actor Dave Franco. In his youth, the resemblance is striking and almost surreal. A vintage photo of a woman from 1936 bears a striking resemblance to Arya Stark. The likeness is so remarkable, it's almost like a glimpse into the future. A childhood photo of a 13-year-old child reveals an uncanny resemblance to Natalie Portman. The similarity in their features is truly remarkable. A photo of an elderly man, my great-great-grandfather, looked strikingly similar to Matthew McConaughey. The resemblance is undeniable, almost as if they could be the same person. A photo of a man from Harlem in 1939 reveals a striking resemblance to Jay-Z. The similarities in their features are astonishing. A portrait of William Shakespeare bears a striking resemblance to actor Paul Giamatti. From the shape of the nose to the expression, it's as if time has blended these two figures, linking Elizabethan drama with modern cinema. A historic portrait of American engraver Paul Revere reveals features closely resembling actor Jack Black. The strong jawline and expressive eyes bridge centuries. A portrait of philosopher John Locke again reveals a remarkable resemblance to actor Adrian Brody. It's almost as if the philosopher's intellectual depth is reflected in the actor's expressive demeanor. Justin Timberlake bears an uncanny resemblance to an old-time mugshot, same slicked-back charm, mischievous smirk, and a face that could sell records or rob banks in the 1920s. Sylvester Stallone and Pope Gregory IX share a surprisingly intense resemblance, the strong brow, solemn gaze, and a face that says he's ready to deliver justice, whether from the pulpit or the ring. Anne Hathaway could have stepped right out of Francisco de Goya's Officer. Same poised expression, elegant bone structure, and a timeless aura that blurs the line between portrait and present. John Travolta's 1800's doppelganger is almost too spot on. Same intense stare, defined features, and that ageless cool that somehow works just as well in a cravat as it does on the dance floor. Michael Cera and Clara Hitler share a surprisingly soft resemblance, delicate features, gentle eyes, and an understated presence that feels quietly thoughtful across a very unexpected connection. Tommy Lee Jones and President Andrew Johnson look strikingly alike, same stern gaze, furrowed brow, and a no-nonsense intensity that feels equally suited for the White House or a gritty courtroom drama. Christian Bale and that random guy with the awesome beard could be Beard brothers through time, same intense eyes, sculpted features, and a look that says he's either about to recite poetry or lead a revolution.